Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Casual K. We're back. We're back after a week off, and I'm excited if you can't tell. Why did we miss last week, Alex? We just didn't connect, huh?
Yeah, we just didn't get our schedules together. I think we were all a little bit too busy, but I had a good week. How'd you end up doing?
On the UFC, I didn't do great, but I killed it in NFL, which has been kind of like how it's been going for me. Had some tougher luck with UFC, but NFL is going great, man. Picking some first touchdown scorers and some pretty lengthy parlays. I had a nice like 8 leg parlay on a game a couple weeks ago. Only put $5 on it, but that was like $400 profit off that. So I felt pretty good with that one.
Yeah, we got to start tailing each other on those NFL places. I can't pick an NFL winner right now, I'll tell you that.
Well,
Uh,
Jared knows that every time I share a pic of a bet slip or something, I take a picture and send a bet slip to you guys, it will not hit. So
well,
I'll
if you
give you
do it
some.
more often, you'll break that streak.
That's what I'm hoping for because it doesn't count until you do it before and you can show people and brag about it before and then come back and say, I told you so afterwards. So we're working on it. But Tapology is back up. It was down for a little bit, so we were going to use SureDog, but I do like the Tapology format. I know everyone uses it, and it probably gets a little old for people, but it everyone uses it for a reason. Today is voting day. I'm not voting myself, but if I did, it'd be for this guy right here.
I
Honestly,
voted for the
if I was
first
gonna,
time today.
well, good, and you have a big reason to. Um,
Yes, I do.
No, I'm not against voting or anything. I just really didn't like have the time, and people say like, "Oh, you should always make time for it." Last time, the first time I ever voted was the last election, and it was such a shit show. So I figured, you know what? I'll sit this one out, see if the guy that I want to wins, and if that happens, I'm just not voting anymore. I
Right.
was gonna write my dog in for president, and I was just gonna go just because I guess it's public record that you vote now, which is bullshit. But hey, it is what it
Well, there was a
is.
couple other things I wanted to vote yes on. Like both of my parents voted no on
Like the props.
one of the props that was a definite yes. It would have hurt Big Pharma, and it was legalizing magic mushrooms for 21 plus for medicinal reasons. And I was like, that's a yes. You want
Yeah,
that.
hard
And they
yes.
both
Yeah.
voted no, and I had to change their opinion.
Yeah, man, shrooms are an experience. I don't consider those a drug at all. They're unless you abuse them, of course, but anything's like that, right? Ice cream can be like that.
Yeah.
Well, let's roll
So,
into this card because as I mentioned to Alex before we started recording, I have a short time here to record this evening. Got a lot of shit to do. So let's roll right into this card. It's UFC Apex 100. So that's kind of cool. Um, I like Carlos Prates a lot too, man. Neil Magny versus Carlos Prates, headline in the card. Cody Garbrandt, Miles Johns, couple good matchups, a couple not so great ones. I mean, it's an Apex card. We can complain, but there's still fights and they're free fights at the end of the day. So let's roll right into it. You know how we do. We start with the first bout of the night and with the main event. Trayshawn Gore versus Antonio Tricoli, who I guess just got a misdemeanor for beating up Mackenzie Dern's ex-boyfriend. Pretty interesting. I don't know if you heard that, but as far as the matchup goes, man, Trayshawn Gore, I feel like he's a little bit overrated. He's only got a 4-2 record, so he hasn't been around too long. But people were thinking this is going to be the guy that beats Bo Nickel when they were matched up and all that stuff, and I just don't see it. Antonio Tricoli, not great either, but I was impressed with how he looked against Shara Magomedov when his last time out, flying in last minute. That's stressful on your body, and he hung with him until he kind of fell apart in the third round. So, without doing much tape, without doing a ton of research or putting a ton of thought, I'm gonna pick the taller guy, Antonio Tricoli. He's probably got decent BJJ, which is gonna fend off some of that Gore wrestling, and I think he's got the reach and he's got everything that he needs here to get it done. I think by decision though. We're kind of changing up the format a little bit. We're not going to do our round picks for every fight and all that shit. But if we're confident in something, we'll throw that out there. So I'm fairly confident in Tricoli without being super confident. What do you think?
yeah, I like the value on him. Bigger guy. He's going to look way bigger. And shockingly, even though he's only had one fight in the UFC, he's more experienced than Trayshawn Gore. To be honest, I don't think I think Gore needs to go into the PFL or a lower league, get his reps up because he's literally growing up in the UFC, you know.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm gonna go with Tricoli. I think he's gonna get a win here on a full camp. And you're right. He didn't look too bad against Sharabutin on short notice. He didn't get knocked out. And
Well, he did in the third round. It was
but it
late
was by
though.
gassage. If he
Yeah.
had the cardio, I guarantee you he would have took that beating for another round. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Tricoli. Gets a fluke sub. I think
Yeah.
he's a way better BJJ guy.
With Gore's competition level in the UFC, really the only great guy that he's fought is Brian Battle. Gilbert Urbina's not great. Cody Brundage, we all know about him. Josh Fremd, I think, is one of the worst on the roster. So yeah, Tricoli, I think, is a live dog here. Moving on up, Cortavius Romeus sounds like I think it actually was from that Key and Peele skit. That's a real name on there when they're throwing out the weird football names and shit. So he's a real guy. And we have Gaston Bolaños from Peru fighting out of California, though. Kind of cool. Take this one first, man.
It's a tough one, man. I do like the value. This is a tough card because there's a lot of dog shots that you're gonna want to take. And I just want to tell you guys, take it easy on this card because a lot of the lines are wide. I think both of these guys got that dog in them. It's just about which one's gonna catch the other one first. I kind of like Gaston. He's got a great style. This is gonna be a barn burner in my opinion. I love this fight from a fan perspective. I'm gonna go with the dog though. I think he can outdog him. I think he might be able to catch him. I think he's a great come from behind fighter as well. I think Bolanos is gonna be live in every single round. You're gonna have to kill him to win this fight. And this is gonna be one I'm gonna be looking forward to watching. I'm gonna go with Gaston to get back on track.
Yeah,
I
I
think
hear
he'll
you,
try
dude.
a late knockout.
Everything that you're saying makes a lot of sense to me. We both think really highly of Marcus McGee as well. The striking with Marcus McGee is so much different than Romeus's, though. He's got more technique. He's tight with his technique. He being McGee, and it seems like Romeus just tries to hit as hard as possible with every shot that he throws. Gaston, I think he's going to see a lot of these wide shots coming. I could see this fight finishing though for sure, even with the new gloves and the different PED regulations and stuff like that. That's been
We got the new
fights
rules too, but they didn't really have an effect last week. But I'm
right.
sure eventually, this might be the card where we see, one of them new finishes.
Yeah, a knee to a half grounded opponent or a 12-6 elbow would be interesting to see. Yeah, man, I got to agree with you here. Taking two dogs right out the gate, that's never a great sign for us historically, but these are our leans. So yeah, give me Bolaños as well. Third fight of the night, chick fight, and Claudia's pretty attractive, I will say. She's just getting into the UFC. I think she's Polish. Yeah, Polish girl. And Melissa Mullins, who she's fighting. I don't even know if I announced both of them. Melissa Mullins versus Claudia Saigula, we'll go with. Um, Mullins is tough, man. She's big. She's more filled out. This Saigula girl looks a little small. Um, Not fighting the greatest level of competition, obviously. But I just think easy here, Melissa. Not easy because it's a girl fight. It's going to probably go the distance, but I see Melissa Mullins probably wrestling a little bit more, getting her game going, and winning this thing by decision, probably unanimous. She's going to welcome this young girl in not so nicely. So a lot of people on Saigula though. So what do you think about it?
I'm gonna stay away from this one, but I do like Miss Dixon. She's cute too, Give her a little credit.
Her
Uh,
eyes are a little wonky.
yeah, you know what it is. I like her. You can't go with a debutant here, That's why she's a plus 200. But I'll give you this: the Polish fighters in the UFC have been pretty hot, and
Yeah,
them as a race in general, they're in my like top five, along with the Dagestanis, along with the Brazilians. They're in one of the top five nationalities that are great at fighting. So
sure.
red flag whenever you're just fading a Polak, just take it easy, go light. Definitely gonna stay away from this one. I'm not gonna hate on anyone who's throwing a flyer on the Polak,
Right.
but yeah, I'm gonna go with Dixon. I agree with you. I think she's gonna out wrestle her. I think we're gonna get a decision here, maybe even a late finish. This might be that sleeper for the downward elbow.
Sure. Hey, if neither one of our dogs hit in our first two, I'll probably switch up here and go with Saigula just because I think one of these dogs finishes or wins, I should say, early in the night. So, admittedly, I have to do a lot more research on this Saigula girl. But She might be the goods. We'll see. 6-1, 6-1, both records. So pretty even matchup, all things considered. This seems like a fun fight here too, because Cody Stamann is actually entertaining when he fights. He doesn't have the best record and hasn't been doing so great lately, but he's taken on Damon Blackshear. Pretty solid, but similar cases for both these guys. They beat low level competition, they lose to higher level competition. So what do you think about this matchup here?
This is my hot take of the week. I gotta go with Cody Stamann just based on as an
Dang,
auto
you
bet.
picking a
He's
lot of
coming
dogs,
off.
dude.
I gotta go with Stamann here at plus 200. This is my only bet on the card as of right now. There'll be more later, but right now this was the one that stood out to me. Cody Stamann deserves to be like even money right here. Damon Blackshear just got knocked out, what, 4 months ago, flatline in the first round. That weight cut might be draining him, and now he's coming back to. He needed more time off, in my opinion. I really dislike seeing guys come back quick after a knockout. And now he's a minus 300 favorite. It's just, it doesn't make sense to me. It's a red flag. The only way he wins is by submission, in my opinion. Maybe a robbery decision I could see. But if this fight stays standing, I think Cody got it in the bag. I think he's got the durability advantage. I think he's going to have the volume advantage. I got to go with him here. I think he's going to. I love the double method bet on this as well. The no distance is plus 250. There's value in that, but I want to add a little bit more value. Cody Stamann by knockout or Blackshear by sub should be around like plus 350. That's a solid bet that I'm going to be taking here. I do see a finish here. Blackshear's chin looks like it might have been gone. Cody Stamann does hit hard. I think
Yeah.
Blackshear's going to be much bigger, though. And when you see him match up, a lot of people are going to take Blackshear. But I think Cody got that dog in him. And I think he's going to show out. I think he's fought the way better competition. And this is a step down for him.
Yeah. It's crazy to think that both these guys could be potentially out of a job after this fight. I mean, one of these guys is going to lose 3 fights in a row. Damon Blackshear, I thought was real promising after like anytime someone hits a triangle choke, there's almost like a curse with the not the triangle, the twister. And Bryce Mitchell got that twister early in his UFC career. But then, I mean, he just got knocked out bad too, Bryce Mitchell in his last fight. Damon Blackshear, that's a nasty knockout from Montel Jackson, right? 3 months ago. 3 months ago, and he was out cold. That was a brutal knockout. 3 months isn't enough time for your brain to recover, and Stamann will put the pressure on. Guy's got great cardio. I like Stamann here too, believe it or not. So yeah, Stamann, and I like your finish call. That's live, especially at that value. Pretty excited for this one as well. Charles Radke, Chuck Buffalo versus Matthew Semmelsberger, Semi the Jedi. A couple great nicknames for these guys too. I don't understand like Matthew Semmelsberger's approach to fights, really. He goes out there and he hurts people and then he fades so quick. I don't think it's a cardio issue though. It seems like it's a maybe like a nerve issue or something like that. I mean, there's a reason that they're keeping him around after losing 3 in a row. He puts on entertaining fights, and this should be no different. I can't just pick all dogs here, but I like Semmelsberger. I really do like Semmelsberger in this matchup, even though Chuck Buffalo looking good, only losing to really good guys in the UFC. But I think his performances are a little bit up and down, right? His first performance against the kickboxer dude, Blood Diamond, horrible performance, but he got the win. So, that's all that matters in the record books. And then, his approach to fighting fucking our boy in the main event here, the Nightmare. Bad approach, man. Why aren't you going to try and wrestle? The guy's a good wrestler if you look before his UFC career. So, question the fight IQ of both guys. I guess in a situation like that, it makes sense to pick Matthew Semmelsberger, and that's what I'm going to do. What you got?
I don't blame you at all. This is one of the closer line fights on the card for a reason. Matthew Semmelsberger has a path to victory, and let's keep it standing. His jab and his volume should win this fight for him. It's just, will Charles' pressure break through? I don't know. I feel like Matt's going to be winning this fight into round two. But it's just, is his cardio going to hold up? Is Charles going to get him down? I really feel Matthew struggles when he's wrestling, and I think that Charles loves to mix it up. He's always mixes it up, whether it's in the clinch. He's full pressure. I like his cardio. I think he is a good rightful favorite here. It's just too close of a, it's going to the judges. And like I said to you guys want to avoid these fights when they go to the judges. My only losing bet last week was Rose. And I thought she won, whatever. I'm not going to argue about it, but these are the types of situations I like to avoid. I'm going to take the over 1.5. That's one of the spots that I'm looking at. It's going to be a nice leg, and I trust that both of these guys can survive.
That's interesting. Over 1.5 is what it's set at.
It's 2.5,
Okay.
but it's minus 125. I like shaving around, maybe adding it to another leg.
Okay. Yeah. Radke might pull out the wrestling a lot more too because he did get TKO'd last time out. So yeah, we'll have to see how that goes. But with two guys with questionable fight IQ, I got to go with the dog again. So I'm on all dogs so far, which is scary. Mansour Abdul Malik versus Dushko Todorovic. Um, what do you think about this matchup? You're up first.
This is a tough one. This is a tough one. It's tough not going with the vet, the new guys. These guys who debut, man, statistically, they shouldn't be a favorite. Statistically, they should be a dog every time because they don't win more than 50% of the time. But, he is training at a good gym. He's training with, Covington at MMA Masters. Is that where Covington is? Yeah, MMA Masters.
I'm not sure.
And, yeah, it's just tough. The contender series fade, it's really pushing you to take the dog here. Um, it's just, I don't know if Dusko can handle the power. This might be one of those outlier points where it's definite where the contender series guy is going to win. So I'm going to go against Dusko, but staying far away from this one. He's hard to bet against. And when all the money's against him, he typically shows up too. So I'm staying far away from this fight, but I don't think Dusko can handle the power. I think he's going to get clipped.
Yeah, Dusko's alternating wins and losses, so he's queued up here for a win if you believe in that whole thing. But yeah, man, I gotta go with Abdul Malik here just because I think that you probably like Todorovic a little more than I do, or you respect his skill set more than I do, maybe. I haven't really seen it personally, so Abdul Malik was impressive in his contender series fight. Um, I think he wants to keep that undefeated record. Obviously, he's got the reach 6 inches according to Tapology here. So, I mean, again, not a ton of tape study on this, but I got to go Malik. He's looked great. I think he's going to come in here with a lot of confidence. So, yeah, give me Malik probably by knockout, man. It could come early. We'll see. We'll see. Elizu Zaleski versus Zach Scroggin. I'm going to go with interesting matchup here. Um,
What happened to Dalby? Did Dalby pull out?
Yeah, I think he fell through. Yeah, W just withdrew, it says. Um that Melissa Mullins versus Montserrat Rendon fight would have been, I think, closer than the other girl fight that's now lined up. It's another thing you got to think about. This girl's coming in on fairly short notice here. So just to take a step back a little bit to that third fight of the night. But with this Zaleski Scroggin matchup, I mean, I was looking at the competition level that Scroggin was facing, man, and it's not good. Like it's pretty low level. Um, won a belt in FAC against a 19 and 14 dude, beating guys that are like 9 and 17, 5 and 4, 6 and 4, 3 and 2, 0 and 0, 0 and 2. Those are all his pro bouts. And then Zaleski's fought like just about everybody, fought in some decent level of competition, some great level of competition, and been in the game for a while. He's the dude that absolutely fucked up Benoit Saint Denis. Um, I know he's 10 years older, 9 years older. I gotta go. I gotta go with the vet here. I think that he can show this newcomer a thing or two, and show him up here. I think that he gets a decision win. So give me Zaleski.
I'm going to agree with you, but disagree with you.
Ooh,
I love that you brought up Benoit Saint Denis. Look what happened to the last guy who was debuting in the UFC against Zaleski. Destroyed him. You don't want to fight this guy on a short camp. And that's what's happening to poor Zach here. I agree with you. Looking at his resume, I think he's a lamb going to slaughter here. No lines up, but I promise you Zaleski's probably going to be a juicy favorite, minus 200 or higher. I got to go Zaleski by finish here. I think he can get it done.
oh, there's the disagreement. The finish. Yeah, he can definitely get him done. He can fuck this kid up, man. But I don't know. I feel like, I mean, is Marathon MMA a good gym? Let's see who's training out of there. I mean, Trey Ogden, dude's a student of the game, high fight IQ. Garrett Armfield, not a huge fan. Money Mike Breeden's
I
decent.
like breeding though. I like breeding.
Yeah, I do as well.
That means we're gonna have a banger, you know. Just seeing like if he's gonna fight like Mike Breeden, you know he's gonna come out there and bang.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. He could fight like some of these guys in his gym here, but you know, Trey Ogden, if he fights like him, he's gonna come out there and fight very smart. So we'll see. But yeah, I gotta go with the vet in this spot. Moving on up, we're cruising through this card so we can slow down a little bit once we get a little higher up here. Um, you always get a chick fight, and you're actually fighting in this one. So this is gonna be a nice one here. Interested in what you think.
My
Luana,
twin.
what?
She's my twin.
Yeah, dude. Luana Pinheiro versus Jillian Robertson. I'll let you take this one first, but I got some thoughts on it for sure.
I know exactly what you're gonna say, man. This one's the trap. It has to be. This was the second one that kind of stood out to me. I said, this line's wide. Luana keeps this standing. It's not gonna look good for Jillian. But here's the thing. She has good IQ, and I trust her IQ. And that's why the line's inflated, because she's a smart, cerebral fighter. She's gonna shoot takedowns. She will shoot. If you don't knock her out, you're probably gonna get taken down. And we know Luana gets tired with the wrestling. So a late submission is probably the outcome here for Jillian. Maybe a decision. I'm not really leaning that. But boy, is it hard not to look at a Luana Pinheiro knockout at those odds. Oh, that is so live. The double method here is screaming at me. You know, Luana KO, Jillian sub. Probably going to be minus 110 on that, but that's probably how I would do it. That's the only two outcomes I see in this fight. Maybe a low percentage that it goes the distance, but I think this is a clash of styles. Even though Luana is Brazilian, I think Jillian's the better BJJ
Oh
practitioner. She's
yeah.
gonna get and you know, I'm rooting for Luana. I want to see her knock her out, but I'm gonna have to go with my twin Jillian Robertson to get a late sub. I think it's gonna look bad early. It's gonna look similar to that. Uh who did she fight? That's like a crackhead that almost beat her
Oh,
up.
Maria Agapova.
Agapova. That Agapova fight was scary early, man. It was scary. So I'm not gonna hate on anyone who's taking Luana early because every second it stays standing, her odds are gonna drop until she gets taken down. So I mean, it could be in a good arbitrage spot if you're quick with your live bet. But I think Jillian's gonna outwork her, get her tired. But whew, those odds are tempting, man. So you can't lay that juice on Jillian Robertson, man. You just can't.
Yeah. Yeah, you can't follow that money line there for sure. I agree with that.
Yeah.
But here's my train of thought here, and I think a lot of people might be thinking the same thing, so that gets a little dangerous when that's going on. But Luana Pinheiro and her boyfriend or husband or whatever it is, Mateus Nicolau, not having good luck lately. I mean, they cannot find a win between the two of them. So you have that bad luck kind of, it's not official. It's, you know, not a tangible thing here. But she's going up against, you know, someone that's fighting out of a gym that's on a big streak. Like they're doing very well over there at the Goat Shed. I think most of their fighters have been winning their last fight or two. We can confirm or deny that here, especially the ones in the UFC. Um, yeah, I mean Christian Perez, I don't think he's in the UFC. Francisco Prado just lost. You know, Aileen Perez is starting to look like she's actually a threat in this division. No one really took her serious, including myself, but she looks like she's starting to turn it around. Yeah, you got a lot of fighters that are on some good win streaks here out of this gym. Now, my other thing is that Luana Pinheiro just fought the least dangerous woman in the division, right? Angela Hill. And I love Angela Hill. It's nothing against her. She's just not a dangerous fighter. There's not a lot of dangerous girls. But she got her first ever submission against Pinheiro. First ever. And Jillian Robertson's known for getting submissions. So I have to, you know, 1+1 = 2. It's dangerous, but also, you know, I'm not going to overthink this. And if I'm taking Jillian Robertson, I'm taking a Robertson submission, and I might get crazy and try to pick a group of rounds. FanDuel offers 1 and 2 or 2 and 3. I might go with that 2 and 3 because I think that Pinheiro can defend the takedowns a little early. But Robertson, who doesn't have great takedowns, is very persistent with them. So give me Jillian Robertson submission 2 or 3. I like that. Probably pretty good odds with that too.
Yeah. And you know what? Luana shouldn't even care about losing. She's only going to lose one rank. They're both in the top 15. To be honest, neither the fight just means whoever wins this fight is going to get a shot at the top 10. And I think Jillian is way overdue for a shot in the top 10.
Agreed. Agreed. Um, all right. So we got a interesting matchup here between two grapplers, big time grapplers. Gerald Meerschaert versus Renier de Ritter. And this is yours to take first, man, but I'm interested what you think.
Renier's better everywhere. Renier. He's the guy who deserves to be a favorite in his debut. No offense to Gerald Meerschaert. I know I say that too much, but I think he's not even on the same level as this guy. I really don't. I think Gerald's going to get outworked here, out wrestled. He's going to get dominated in every area of this fight, and all I needed to watch and what I'd suggest you guys watch is watch Gerald Meerschaert get out grappled by what's his name? Christoph Jotko. I rewatched that back and I said, this is probably how the fight's going to go. You're going to see Gerald Meerschaert on his back for 3 rounds. This could also be one of those fights where the rules could come into play because this guy's coming out of one championship where they have similar rules with the elbows and the knees. So he's going to be more accustomed to throwing those. So I'd be a little bit wary about betting over under on this one. A little bit less confident on that, but I like the money line on Rayner here. I think he's one of the guys who's gonna get it done.
The Dutch Knight.
Yeah.
Um, for me, this is interesting just because Meerschaert, the way he wins, and like if someone gets Gerald Meerschaert, it means that they were beating Gerald Meerschaert's ass the whole time, and then he comes back and gets a meme submission, right? I don't know if you can do that to Ritter here, but
Or like Paul Craig, I think Gerald Meerschaert, if he's winning, he's dominating. He's not really a good comeback fighter. Has he?
yeah, his last fight against
Record.
Shabazian,
Oh yeah, you're right. I
Brian
think he
Barberina too. I mean, like his last 2 wins are like that. I mean, yeah, you can go through and find a lot of those, man.
Bruno Silva. He dominated the whole thing though.
Against Bruno Silva, okay. Yeah, Joe Pyfer finished Andre Petrosky. I think Petrosky probably lost to him, but they gave it to Petrosky. The thing with Ritter here, he's fighting over in one, dominant double champ, killing it, and then his last 2 fights he loses. Lost in a grappling match against some dude named Ty Rudholo. I'm not sure who that is. I'm not gonna lie, but
Well, Ty Rotolo is a great BJJ grappler.
okay,
He's on the level of Mike Musumeci. So, he's ranked up there. He's one of the champions. It's him and Mike Musumeci are the top 2 guys. So that's actually not a bad loss. And that experience looks good on his record. If you're not getting subbed by Ty Rotolo, good luck, Gerald Meerschaert.
okay. Well, also you got to look at the guys that he lost to. They're both undefeated dudes, right? So there's a couple badass guys fighting in one. This isn't PFL. One is definitely a better, higher level of competition than PFL ever will be.
Honestly,
I
debatable.
just
It might be even harder than the UFC sometimes.
sometimes it can be for sure. I'm just saying it's better than fucking PFL. Um, who, in my opinion, those are amateur fights in the PFL. Um, I think that I agree with you here, man. It's just a little tough because Meerschaert is good. He can get his ass beaten and still come back. And if Ritter gets a little bit too ambitious on the ground, Meerschaert could catch him in something. But like you said, if this top level grappler that I hadn't heard of is able to or unable to submit Ritter, I got to go with Ritter. He's probably a lot better on the feet than Meerschaert. So I mean, let's go Ritter.
Better on the feet. He's better on the ground. He's better everywhere.
Yeah, I'll go finish Ritter. I think he gets a sub or a knockout here. So I'm I'm gonna take a finish on the Ritter side there. Now what is this? A third main card fight already. Ricky Tercios taking on Bernardo Sopage, another guy coming back a little quick after a pretty brutal knockout. I mean, not pretty's not even the word. It was one of the most brutal knockouts a lot of us have seen for sure. He's taking 8 months off. That's good. You'd like to see guys take like a year off after something like that, though. But nonetheless, he's obviously cleared to fight. He was looking decent in that fight against Vinicius Oliveira too. And Tercios, he's gonna bring the volume. He's gonna have fun and do his thing. But I gotta go Sapage. Sapage, I think, is a clear pick. Tercios is good, but I think Sapage has the ability to be great. I think he can easily be a ranked opponent in the future. And yeah, I just don't see it from Tercios. I really don't. I was very confident that he was going to lose to Raul Rosas. Um, I think that the only side here, the only thing that makes sense is Bernardo Sapage. They don't have lines listed here, but it looks like, the public kind of agrees with me on this. And yeah, give me the
Odds plus
Swede.
250.
Plus 250, Sapage? Really? What are we missing?
No, no, no. I'm sorry. I have it backwards. Sapage minus 350. That's right.
Okay. I was
That's
gonna
it.
say, I'm gonna bet that right now. Yeah, so I mean, I'm assuming just by like your face, you kind of agree with what I'm saying, but what do you have to
Oh,
add here?
100%. 100%. Especially when I thought the line was plus money. I was like, ooh,
Yeah. I was gonna
this.
say, what are we missing? But
Yeah. Bernard, if you look at, if he fights the same way against in his last fight, he's going to be minus 1,000 going into round two. You know what I mean? He's an auto bet before the fight starts because he just comes out so hard. It's very rare that he's losing in round one. So it's almost like a free bet up until round two. And then he's going to start gassing out. But I'm pretty sure that fight was on short notice. He took that fight on like a week or 2 weeks and he still looked good. I bet Vinicius in that fight and I was sweating. It was a sweaty fight, back and forth. Great fight.
yeah,
So he's getting a little bit too much credit after a loss. He really is. If that cardio hasn't worked out and he doesn't get the fight done in the first round, first 7 minutes, Tercio's gonna run him over with that cardio. And it's not often you see Tercios getting tired. So the later the fight goes, it's gonna help Ricky. I think Ricky would be a live bet in this scenario. If this fight gets past round two, wouldn't hate a shot on Ricky, but I think
probably be a
Sapaj,
dog there too because he'll probably be getting his ass beat for 2 rounds.
I think Sapaj should get it done in round one.
Knockout, huh? All right, I like it. I like it. Carolina Kowalkiewicz versus Denise Gomes. You know I'm picking Denise Gomes. I'm not even gonna like go beat around the bush, but this line is wide, so I won't be making a money line bet on her. She's got power, but I don't know how often Carolina gets knocked out. Once in her entire career, and it's been a long one. She's getting up there in age, right? So, I mean, it is possible. She's 39 versus a 24-year-old. The knockout is live here, I think. Anytime Denise Gomes is fighting, especially, they call these girl fights a little quicker. Um, if Gomes drops her, I mean, the ref's gonna bail Kowalkiewicz out of this probably. So give me Denise Gomes, and I'll get a little ballsy here, and I'll say by knockout, and it'll probably come fairly early. If not, if this goes past round two, definitely go in the distance. Gomes, I don't think she carries her power late in the fights, but yeah, give me Gomes here. Tough to bet that money line though, at minus 430. Probably higher than that now. But what do you got?
Yeah, I'm considering a bet on this fight. I'm looking at Gomez by finish at plus 200. Thinking about pulling the trigger on that. I think she can get it done, but I feel like I'm getting trapped into betting it. Because if the
Yeah.
line is just minus 300, I'll just suck it up and lay the juice, make it a leg. But they're really forcing me to pick a prop here. So it might be a pass at the end of the day. I agree with you. The line is extremely wide, but I think she's 100% the pick here. You know,
Yeah.
only way she loses, in my opinion, is them judges.
Yeah, robbery decision. Well, I mean, if Denise Gomes lets it go that long, I mean, Cole Kowitz is going to have to probably grapple here to make Denise Gomes feel uncomfortable. And she's not much of a grappler. Am I wrong? Like she seems to mix the martial arts, obviously, but she's not a primary grappler from what I've seen from her. So, yeah, Denise Gomes, I think gets this done pretty easy here.
I mean, Lucindo got her down a couple times. Belbita got her down a couple times. And I just think Denise Gomez is gonna have the power on the feet. I think Carolina might get so hurt she's gonna be the one shooting, but that'll be a good sign for us.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's true. Gomes could lock her up in a submission on a sloppy shot too. So yeah, the finish is definitely live for Gomes. I always call her Gomes, but I'm pretty sure it's Gomez. And I'm part Mexican, so I always say it, but I'm used to seeing it with a Z. So I'm sure it's Gomez. But let's move into this co-main event of the evening, man. We got Cody Garbrandt versus Miles Johns. Interesting matchup. Interesting matchup. And with Cody Garbrandt being the dog, I'm curious what you think about this, but go ahead and lay it on me.
Tough fight to call. I've been back and forth with this one. I'll tell you what the safest bet is on this fight. It's the over 1.5, maybe even the over 2.5 if you want to get greedy. Over 1.5 is minus 160. I apps. It's gonna go higher because the over 2.5 is minus 140 on some spots. But yeah, I like the over 1.5. I think that's a good leg. I think both of these guys are gonna take it slow. Cody in the first round. I think he's gonna take it slow, and I don't think Miles is gonna bang with Cody. I think he's gonna come in typical to his strategy, wrestle, mix it up. I, this is such a hard fight to call, guys. This is another one of those fights where I want to stay away from it because I'm pretty sure it's going to the judges. It's going to get political. They're going to give it to whoever they want, regardless of how the fight went. So I'm going to take the over. I'm going to say Cody Garbrandt wins a decision. Whatever. Not going to be shocked if Miles Johns wins, but this is a stay away fight. I wouldn't take a side in this.
Yeah, it's tough, man. It is pretty closely lined as well, but I'm pretty sure that Garbrandt will close the dog. The thing is with Cody Garbrandt, man, he gets finished in a lot of his losses. Against Davison Figueiredo, lost a submission. Computer's freezing up on me here. Kai France got knocked out. That was really his downfall. Went the distance with Rob Font, which, as we saw last time out, Rob Font looked great against someone that we thought was very good, and turns out maybe he's not that good, or maybe he was just having an off day. I don't know.
Let
I'm
me ask
talking
you, how
about,
does Cody win this fight?
well, by points, I think. He's got great striking, but if Johns catches him, Johns is powerful. So,
Yeah.
if he catches Cody, he's going to go out.
I think they're
Um,
both chinny. I think they both could get caught. I just think Miles has to wrestle to get this win. I don't think he can win for 15 minutes on the feet. If he doesn't catch the knockout, I don't think he's going to win on the scorecards here.
yeah. Yeah, and in Vegas, we know they don't like wrestlers too much. So if Cody's stuffing a couple takedowns and piecing Miles Johns up, that's a good way for Cody Garbrandt to win. Competition level between these guys is not even close. I mean, Cody Garbrandt, former champion, obviously, and fought some really badass dudes in that division. But he just seems like he can't really find his momentum. These two wins were against people that he shouldn't have even been fighting, man. Brian Kelleher, like that dude should have been retired a while ago, and then Trevin Jones, um, you know, not too great. So let me get, or am I thinking of someone else? Trevin Jones is, oh, I was thinking of Giles, but he's a much bigger dude. So yeah, Trevin Jones no longer in the UFC though. So it's, uh, it's a tough one to call. I think I got to go with the younger dude with some momentum here. And, give me Chapo. Give me Miles Johns. Not much younger, 3 years younger, but yeah, give me Miles Johns. I can see a finish coming. So not super confident though. Main event. Main event of the evening. We rolled right through this card, man. We did it nice. We did what we had to do. Neil Magny is taking on Carlos Prates, who is quickly becoming one of my favorite fighters, man. Anytime someone comes up through the UFC in this division of welterweight, they have to go through Neil Magny. He is a great gatekeeper in like every sense of the word. Not any slander. I like Neil Magny. Seems like a good dude, cool guy. Actually, a guy that I went to high school with trains with Neil Magny, and Neil Magny will go and corner him. This guy's name's Caleb Crump. I went to high school with him, and he's starting to really get some stuff going for himself in outside of the UFC. But don't be surprised to see Caleb in there someday because he is stringing some wins together, and his career started off a little rough, and now he's really doing his thing. But the betting odds here, or the public odds, how they're capping the fight on Tapology, you're not surprised to see the 96%, most of that by knockout for Prates. What do you think about this matchup?
That's how he wins. I mean, if you watch tape on Neil Magny, he's getting. It's as if by every fight he gets a little bit less durable and less durable. I don't know, understand how no one can come in here and just eat his leg up for 15 minutes. After watching that Ian Gary fight, it's hard to ever pick on Neil Magny again because anyone with the slightest little bit of fight IQ knows how to beat him. But with that being said, even Neil Magny has a path to victory here. Just get some takedowns. Just mix it up. Survive early. The longer this fight goes, Carlos is not going to look good.
Carlos Prates smokes the cigs, dude. That does wonders on your cardio in a bad
I
way.
know, right? But as the fight goes on, Neil Magny and that veteran savviness could come out. Now, am I saying I'm betting Neil Magny money line? Absolutely not. But I'll tell you the way I would bet Neil Magny. I would bet Neil Magny two ways. Decision only. So if he gets finished, it's a push. You get all your money back. It's not often Neil Magny's losing a decision, and especially in a 5-rounder. I don't even know if Carlos Prates will be able to survive that.
Yeah.
But
Well, he
that's
will
how.
against Magny. Magny's not very dangerous. He'll be able to survive, but it might not look too good. Might just be on his back the whole time. Um,
Is that this is how I would bet. The odds are not out yet. I'm curious. I'm assuming it's going to be plus money. But Neil Magny to get one takedown is something I'd be interested in. Because, if that's plus 200, 250, he gets it, he could still lose, but the bets he could still hit. And yeah, I think that's the way I'm going to look at this fight. I think Prates by KO is also a great look. It's hard not to go against that. I'm curious to see what his finish line is, actually. Do we have that?
yeah, it's definitely not on any books, but it might be online there for you to see. Yeah, I agree with everything you said. I just don't think that the single takedown line is going to be plus money. You might be right there, but I think it would be minus 110.
I think seeing that his line is plus 500, I think they're going to juice it up. And I think that's going to be the way to go.
Yeah, if it's
If you
there.
like Neil Magny. I mean, you could even double dip and hit both, but I don't understand how to find value on Prates by finish at minus 400. That's tough.
Yeah. It would just be a little scary to bet the Neil Magny by decision because let's say this does go long because I agree that's a really good take because you could put a lot on that decision only and feel pretty comfortable because if he gets knocked out, you're just getting your money back.
But here's the thing, that decision only bet on Neil Magny, I think there's odds for it out. Hold on, I'll give you odds on that.
Is it minus?
It's probably going to be, it's not out yet, but it's probably only going to be like plus 150, plus 200. It might even be minus money.
Yeah, that's
I
what
have
I was
no idea
thinking.
what they're going to cap that at.
Well, the scary thing if you do that though is like let's say Prates fucking 10-8s Magny a couple rounds, and then Magny 10-8s Prates a couple rounds, later in the fight, which could happen. I mean,
Well, in a scenario that I see a decision, I see Prates beating him up for 1 round, maybe getting a 10-8, and then Neil out wrestling him for 4.
yeah,
And Prates just surviving, showing that he can survive off his back, even though he's tired. But even that's a fluke, because Prates get tired. Magny's gonna finish him. Magny's gonna get on that back and sub him. Magny's got great cardio.
yeah. Well, he hasn't gotten anywhere near tired yet, Prates, because I mean, I think he's only gotten in around 2 in the UFC. Um, let's double check that. So yeah, round 2, late in a round 2 though. Or no, that is late in round 2. Both of these, and then a late round 1, and then just absolutely dominated Jing Liang, or Li Jing Liang. Sorry. Um, and he's getting a lot of performance bonuses too, man. I think he keeps that going. This dude, he's dangerous, man. I think he's definitely. I don't know about fighting for a belt one day. It's always hard to say, but this is not one of the most stacked divisions, and I think he could definitely get up there at some point. So I got to go Prates here. I think he knocks out Magny probably in round 2 or 3. Magny will definitely make him work for it, but I think he'll get it. Like I said, 2 or 3. Pretty
Prates live for
confident
a
in that.
sub or no?
Prates?
Sub by Prates plus 900.
I mean, if Magny shoots in a sloppy takedown, but we know what Prates wants to do, man. He's that low volume kind of Muay Thai striker, very much Muay Thai striker. He's got it tattooed on his chest, but low volume, picks his shots, and yeah, dude, he's been in the UFC for such a short amount of time. He's got $150,000 disclosed earnings. Those are just bonuses. So The dude's a fun watch. And yeah, Fighting Nerd's another one of those hot camps, man. They come in with good game plans. They're drilling takedown defense. They're practicing those knees up the middle when someone's shooting. So yeah, I think Muay Thai gets it done here. Probably by finish, I would imagine. So not much to add to it.
Yeah, Prates by knockout minus 300. They know what's happening.
Yeah, you got to pick a round at those odds. You got to pick a round or a group of rounds. You really have to, unless you're going to parlay that up. That knockout, because that's how he wins. I don't see him getting it any other way. Um,
Be safe this week, guys. This is a trappy card. There's only a couple fights that are lined close. So
we got a
be
great card next
safe.
week.
And we just had a card where we only had one dog hit. So be a little bit careful on this card. And yeah, good luck, guys. I think we're gonna have a rough week. I think all the favorites could win, but hopefully we hit those dogs at the beginning and I hit Cody Stamen.
That'd be nice. This is our next card, and we can go a lot heavier on this one. There's some nice spots here. Um, I wouldn't mind someone throwing a little bit of money on Paul Craig just because of the straight wrestling from Bo Nickel. And Paul Craig seems to only beat these really fucking good fighters that are kicking his fucking ass. So, I mean, he's the only dude that's ever beat Ankalaev. He beat Jamal Hill. I know this is a while ago. I'm not telling people to do that, but I could see that. Especially Bo Nickel's probably going to be a fucking minus 1,000 or 2,000 or something crazy. But yeah, you got Eric Anders and Weidman. That's an easy pick for me. Um, Azamat Mirzakhanov and Nikita Krylov. Love Mirzakhanov
Pick for
there.
me.
What?
Easy pick for me.
Yeah, Mirzakhanov. And then I'm on
You gotta go Krylov.
no, dude.
Gotta go Krylov there.
Russia versus Ukraine just because the political thing.
Gotta.
Um, but yeah, Veronica Hardy fighting a not the greatest girl in the world. So yeah, you got a lot of spots here that you can find some good picks. So go easy this week, like Alex is saying. Then we come back to something a lot better the following week. What else do you got here before we get out?
Oh, waiting on my Donald Trump money line bet to hit. Hopefully that hits so I can get a nice new computer.
Do
The
you want
pro
to talk about how much you put on him
I
or no?
put I have like three different sites with action. I got Kalshi for a couple racks. I got Predicted maxed out on four markets at 850 each, and I got another rack on Bet Online for the bonus, and another rack on Bovada that Jared got me on for the bonus. Shout out to Jared. He's fighting this weekend, November 9th at Snew Arena in Manchester, New Hampshire. He's making his kickboxing debut. If you guys want to hang out with us there, get your tickets, link below.
Yeah, I'm sure you're gonna be at that, yeah.
Of course.
Yeah, I have to watch on TV. It's he fights on the very first fight of the night, and it starts at 6 Eastern, I believe. So yeah, I'm gonna be watching that at 4 o'clock my time over here on Mountain Time, and ordering the pay-per-view, of course, and then entering Lennon in your promo code box because that gives him a little kickback. So Jared's probably made you guys a lot of money on here. It's the least you could do if you're into it. It's Cage Zone, right? Or what is it?
Yeah,
What's the
so
what's the promotion?
it's Combat Zone
Combat Zone.
86.
Yeah.
Use code Lennon for 10% off tickets.
Combat Zone. Let's check it out. We can see his mug on here. He's
Combat
got
Zone
a
86.
Yeah, I was trying to just find the damn site, Combat Zone MMA.
There you
And
go.
yeah, he's fighting another dude that's not super experienced, so formally. So I think it's gonna be a good matchup. Here's the card. Got a couple titles up there as well. But yeah, there's our boy. First fight of the night in the blue corner. First to walk out there
He's
that night.
banging the bloods.
Well, he's a Crip in this one. But yeah, dude, I'm actually really excited for that. And like I said, first guy to walk out. So if you're gonna tune in early. And it's a pretty large card. I mean, you got what, 8, 10, 12, 13 fights, something like that. So yeah, worth it. And oh nice, they got these for him too. There he is right on the bottom, rocking the nice little Marine tat. He's gonna go out there and do us proud here on this show. So excited for that. And
He's gonna be back. He's gonna be back for the John Jones card
yeah, that's when he returns, hopefully with a dub. And
with.
yeah, I'm very confident that he's going to do well there. So should be fun. And yeah, don't forget, guys, that's Saturday, this Saturday coming up. And let's see how this election turns out. I hope Trump wins for many reasons.
Donald Trump doesn't win, I'm gonna be homeless.
No, you're not. You'll be all right.
Yeah, I am. I'm gonna crash out.
Well, politics is scary to bet on, but I think we're pretty safe here. So it seems
Go.
that way. But and I didn't vote this time. The last time I voted, that's when it was all fucked up. So it was all because of me. That's why.
I'm gonna blame you if it doesn't hit now.
Well, I didn't vote. So that's why. If Arizona goes blue, then you could partially blame me because it would, I'm sure, just have come down to
Fair
one
enough.
vote. Do you have any parlays or anything that you want to throw out there before we get out?
Got a lot more tape and media interviews to watch tomorrow. You know how I like to do, but as of right now, I only have one bet. Looking at a couple other ones like Denise by finish. I haven't really pulled the trigger yet, but I am pulling the trigger on Cody Stamen. That's the one shot I'm going to take. Might take him by finish only, but the money line looks good. And that double method, him by KO, Blackshear by sub. Also another bet I'm going to be taking.
Beautiful. Yeah, short and sweet this week, guys, because we had a time constraint. We didn't want to miss 2 weeks in a row. We didn't want to get this one out late. So you should be hearing this and watching it Wednesday or Thursday before the fights start. And yeah, lots of good action going on this week. There's a pretty cool card on DAZN for BKFC. Really good card. Ton of experienced fighters on there. It's not like one of the prospect cards where there's, two debuting fighters in several of the fights. This is a well-established card here. Great fighters. Check that out if you got a DAZN subscription. And other than that, guys, good luck. Tough week, but it should be good. Hit me up if you guys want any NFL picks too or leans. We're doing pretty well with that. So I might start dropping some here. Didn't get a
Yeah, I
chance to
need
look at any
some, bro.
games.
Bless me.
They're fun. I love watching them too. So it makes the games a lot more fun, obviously betting. So good luck to everybody. Watch the show here on Profit Picks YouTube. And obviously, if you're listening, you know where to find me. And we'll be back with some news shows. I'm actually doing an election special later this evening with a couple friends. So that should be fun. That'll be live on Legit Bats, but you're not going to hear this in time. So you can go back to Legit Bats YouTube and you can watch us there, fuck around, talk shit about the election and politics. So that's it for us today, guys. Thanks for the quick listen, and we'll be back next week with some more winning MMA picks.